welcome everyone for our IterateUX event. And yep, good evening, good morning, the people who all are from different countries and different time zones. And thanks for joining our today's event. Okay, so today we are at now presentation day. So from entire month, all our participants were working on the amazing design challenge that we have conducted. So today it's the chance for a few teams to present their entire journey, what they have worked on in entire month. So we are also excited to see like what people have worked on. And today we have Halliq as a mentor, and he will be giving some feedback, critics on their presentation. So thanks, Halliq, for being there with us with IterateUX and on this challenge as well. Okay, great. And all the very best for all our teams who will be presenting. Okay, so I will quickly introduce about IterateUX community, the people who all are new to our IterateUX community. So we are a community wherein we provide a platform to for all the UX, all the designers to learn, connect, and grow with each other. As we all know, like UX is like we need to learn on many areas. So we provide a platform wherein we organize some events wherein people can come together, ask some questions to speakers, learn on many areas and those kind of stuff. So we do arrange weekly events for that. We arrange design challenges as our current design challenge. We do arrange individual challenges, team challenges, and all, so that people can come together, work together, have some learn some soft skills and hard skills as well, which will help them to get a job in the UX industry. Then we do have a portfolio and resume review ticketing system on our Discord platform, wherein our Discord team will help them to get a ticket, get a reviews on their resumes and portfolio. That can be one-on-one reviews or maybe lively reviews. We do have our mentors as well in our community who help us for reviewing the portfolios and resumes. Also, we do arrange monthly whiteboard challenges wherein people can connect, collaborate in the time constraint environment, and learn more on their interview skills, sharpen on their interview skills, and solve a problem within that particular time period. So all these things that we have. And we do have our Discord platform wherein you can explore on different channels like design feedbacks, user research, and any other channels as well. Moving ahead, okay, so these are our upcoming events, and everyone is waiting for the second event for sure. But yeah, these are our upcoming events. So next Thursday, again, we will have a design presentation where we will have three different teams who will be presenting their design challenges that they have worked on. And on September 29th, again, we will have another presentation where another three teams will be presenting, and we will have Chris at that time as a mentor to provide a critic on that. And on September 29th, we will be announcing the winners for this design challenge. So, yep, we all are excited. Okay, so moving ahead, I would like to share. I would like to say some few more things. Feel free to share your learnings, your experiences through all your social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other platform. Feel free to tag us as IterateUX. Let others also know about all these challenges and events. Let others also learn something and grow in their careers as well. So feel free to share with others as well, and feel free to tag us. Okay, and yep, we will be sharing few more links also in the chat window. So today we have Alice with us as a moderator. So she will be sharing some of the links with you on this chat window, wherein you can network with others as well. We will share the networking link as well. Then we will be sharing one volunteers registration and mentors registration as well. As we are a non-profit organization, feel free to volunteer with us if you would like to excel in your any skills, if you would like to learn something, or if you would like to help the community. So feel free to register on that. Yep. Before we go ahead, there are a few things. Unmute yourself when you would like to share something. But today we have a presentation, so I would say mute yourself. Only the teams will be unmute and they will be presenting. Make use of the chat. We will be checking all your questions. Okay, at the end of 5 minutes, we will have Q&A session as well. So feel free to text it in the chat window if you have any questions. Yep, we are good. Engage in our Discord platform, start conversation, help others, and grow with each other, and be kind and have fun. Okay, so moving ahead, we will be sharing a support us link as well, as we are a non-profit organization and we arrange all our events for free, wherein people can connect and learn with each other. If you really like what we do at IterateUX, feel free to donate however amount you would like to donate us. That will help our community to run some same similar activities and some different more good activities as well. So, yep, we are good and let's get event started. So today, let me stop my screen sharing. And today we have team 42 who will be presenting first. So I will hand over it to team 42. Please go ahead and share your screen. Alice will be starting the timer. You will have 10 minutes for your presentation. So you can go ahead. Mhm. All the very best, Team 42.
Hi everyone, we are Team 42 and we've chosen to do Design's theme. My team consists of me, Athena, Anna, Jen, and Alex. We'll be going over our design process and then our next steps.
Hi, I'm Alex. This is our research and discovery phase. So how might we? How might we optimize the Steam user experience and better retain new customers with an original product in a competitive, evolving gaming market? For our preliminary research, there are over 120 million active players on Steam. During our research, we looked at key stats, demographic stats, Steam game stats, sales forecast, and customer complaints. User surveys. We started off by doing Google survey and received 15 responses with one contextual interview. Our survey found that on average, our users are 20 years old. 66% said that they often play with friends. 66% said that Steam is the only platform that they use. We asked what is the easiest and hardest task to accomplish. We also asked why they use Steam and what features they wanted to see. Affinity map. In our affinity map, we found that overwhelming our number one grievance to be adding friends is the most complicated task. Players enjoy the convenience and functionality of Steam. However, the UI and navigation were another pain point for the users. Competitive analysis. During our competitive analysis, we looked at Epic Games, GOG, and Ubisoft. Steam is by far the most popular of all the platforms and the most featured of all. Steam stands alone with workshops, which is the player-created content, community market, and live streams. Some users express a want for some features like SharePlay that Ubisoft has. However, that's still a feature being developed in beta mode. Next, I will pass this off to Jen.
Based on our preliminary and secondary research, we identified our target audience and took all the data to define our problems and opportunities. We created user personas to really understand where the gaps and inefficiencies were and to empathize with customers and their pain points. To help us define what we need to focus on to better redesign Steam. Gian runs a custom automotive part company. He commutes 2 hours in traffic every day after a stressful day of work. He goes home and he plays with his dogs, unwinds, and plays games online. Some of his key motivations and needs are to play games and connect with friends, easily discover new games. He's frustrated with adding friends. We learned that we need to make it easier for users to access games, discover new games, and connect with friends. We used the heuristics evaluation to figure out potentially usability issues with the current platform. Because of the added features on Steam over the years, there's a lack of consistency with the categories and distracting ads that take away from the main goal of the user, which is to play games and connect with friends. So according to our research and affinity map, we identified core problems and needs to focus on, including add friends feature, invite friends feature. And because connecting with friends on Steam was a bit frustrating and convoluted process. So in addition, we improving the overall UI and navigation since most gamers use the Steam platform. Which leads to our problem statement. Our users mainly use the Stream platform to play games and to connect with friends socially. However, due to the platform's UI standards, users struggle to navigate the Friends tab, especially to add friends and invite friends. This hinders their overall playing experience.
Yeah, so once we've identified our problem statement, we started ideating and prototyping. During this phase, we created sketches, developed our low and mid fidelity wireframes. Today, we'll show you our mid fidelity wireframes. But before that, we'll take a look at the current Steam platform. Here's our Steam platform. So this is the first thing that pops up when you open Steam, the library. And to access the friends list, you have to click on the bottom right corner. And then in order to add friends, you just click on this, or you go to your profile right here and you go to friends, and then it'll show your friends and then add a friend. So once you go to add a friend, it'll show you your friend code, and then you enter the friend code or send a quick invite or try searching for your friend through their profile name. Now, one of the things that we also found out was on Steam, they have this thing called custom URL, but you have to access it through your profile, edit profile, and then the custom URL is right here, which tells you like it's an easy way to tell friends where to find your profile. So we thought it would be a great idea to incorporate that into the add friends interaction. So here, one of the biggest issue that a lot of users have when adding friends is with the add friend code. So once you put in your invite friend, your friend code, it just doesn't work. It says failed to send invitation, please retry. So we wanted to tackle that. And here's our product. We've decided to incorporate the friends tab on the very left permanently so that users are able to see the activity that friends have, and that since it's a very important part of what our solution, we wanted to incorporate that on the left because that's the first thing that a lot of users see. Here you can chat with them or invite them to friends. And here we wanted to incorporate this friends, adding friends here so it's easier to see. Here you can add with the personal URL, username, and users you've recently played with. We got rid of the personal ad code because we thought that it was very, that other platforms, we saw that other platforms did not use the ad code anymore. And so we just wanted to add the personal URL and username. The personal URL will be first because it's very easy to identify who your friends are right here. But with the username, it's a lot harder because a lot of other players may have the similar username as you do, as you can see here. But once you add a friend, the friend request we sent, and you can go to the friend requests where you'll see who has sent friend requests to you, and then you can see who you have sent your friend request to. And here you can see that Samantha accepted our friend request, and she will appear on the very top of the friends list.
So before we could move on to creating high fidelity prototypes, we have to conduct usability testing to find areas of improvement. Due to the time constraints, we were able to recruit one person to test our product. He is a tech-savvy 25-year-old male who uses Steam at least 5 times a week. For this usability test, we collected observation-based qualitative data due to a smaller pool of testers. We chose to conduct think out loud testing, where we observed the user completing key actions throughout the platform as he verbally walked us through the process. We found that overall, the user was able to successfully complete their goals and add friends using the URL method and the username method. They also enjoyed the condensed friends tab and group options on the side. However, they ran into some issues and confusion throughout the process and offer suggestions moving forward. First, they noticed that the Friends tab is on the left. However, in the Steam platform and any other gaming platforms, the standard is to keep it on the right. Since adding friends is a vital part, they wish that the icon was bigger or more noticeable. In addition, they would like to perform more tasks such as chat, invite friends, view profiles, and delete friends. They also noticed that there's no exit or search for games option either that they would like to see. These were some of the useful insights that we learned from the user's perspective that led us to our next steps in the process. Based on feedback, we would implement those updates and recruit more people to conduct usability tests on to gain different perspectives. We then would move on to the high fidelity designs, utilizing the Steam design system. Once the high fidelity wireframes are done, we can prototype and run more tests in the design with the design changes included. And then this concludes our presentation. Thank you guys for watching and let us know if you have any questions.
That's a great. I really like the design challenge that you have worked on. Looks amazing. And you are on time, exact 10 minutes. So perfect. Halliq, please go ahead. It's your turn now.
Yeah, can you go to the start of the presentation? Yeah, just go through the slides. I think the initial starts. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So my biggest recommendation would be on this particular presentation is you guys know that you guys are focusing on one particular feature, right, of Steam, not of like the whole Steam itself. So that's why the previous slide that you guys had, where you guys are saying like what if statement, right, or whatever that is. Yeah, the like one before, the one where you guys is talking about the new customers and rate and retention. Yeah, how we might, right? Yeah, so maybe I would suggest actually like speaking about that feature rather than talking about like Steam, because here I thought, oh, you guys are like redesigning the whole Steam platform. That's what I thought. Like, oh, is there like something that they're doing which was gonna like make Steam experience better for new users so that it's easy for them to use. But in reality, you guys were like just focusing on one particular feature, right? So that is like my first recommendation, because my initial expectation, like till the moment that you guys went like after the research, right, where you guys spoke about, oh, this is the only problem that you're focusing on, I thought I was going to see the whole redesign of the platform. So that was the assumption that I went in with. So maybe let's just make it a little bit more clear here. That hey, we are focusing on one particular feature, which is going to be like helping users, to add friends better, or whatever that you guys want to call them as. So that is like one thing. Yeah. I would say all of my feedback is going to be based on that. Let's move forward. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. I do like how you guys are saying about like how many people play on Steam, how many people, but again, based on the sentence that you guys had last time, you guys speak about how you guys are going to help new users feel better while they're using Steam, right? So maybe it would be nice to see, hey, how many a million or how many thousands of new users are actually like joining Steam per day or per month, just to show me that whether it's actually a worthwhile effort for me to actually, or if you guys have like, because my biggest question, like, how did they even figure out the fact that new users, or actually whether they are being loyal to the platform, or are they actually like dropping off after a couple of logins? Because I was actually like looking for those kind of statistics. So yeah, so that's where I would say maybe if your how we might statement talks about new users, maybe this slide could have some statistics about like how many users in this 120 million on month-on-month basis could be like new users, right? So hey, per month there'll be like 2 million new users who join. That is why we need to make sure that new users actually have better experience with the platform. Yeah, we can move to the next slide. Okay, cool. Yeah, again, for me, like this doesn't connect. So this is exactly why I said like I'm going to connect everything with like your how we might statement, because again, this questions that you have, these surveys or whatever that you might have asked, this isn't connect for me with your project, because I thought this is like overall Steam redesign, but what you guys spoke about like new users and everything. So maybe it will be better if you can add like a single slide or maybe a small sentence about what is the purpose of your research, like what are you trying to uncover, or like what kind of hypothesis that you guys had before you went into the research, right? Which you guys are trying to find the answers. Maybe that would be like a little bit better, because here these are like very generic questions, which I think like if you're like into the business of UX or research, like everybody asks these questions in like every research. So this one doesn't give me any idea of like what kind of data that you guys covered. Yeah, I do see a couple of graphs, I see like a single stat, but for me it would be easier for me to just, because since this is like a 10-minute presentation, right, and you're trying to like unpack a lot of things, so maybe it will be easy for people who are going to see this presentation to see like, okay, this is the thing that they try to uncover in the research. So, and maybe you can provide stats to actually like show, okay, hey, we tried to figure out how many users actually drop off after first login in Steam, right? If that is the purpose of your research, maybe you can like show the stats. Okay, hey, based on our surveys, we figured out that 66% of users actually drop off after their first login. So for me, that particular piece is missing, because it's just like a sudden start without like any kind of idea. I do not know like why you are doing research. It just seems like you guys asked few questions, but again, I do not know like why these questions were asked. So that would be sort of my feedback. Maybe like add a small blurb or maybe a page which talks about like why you did the research, what is the purpose, or what kind of hypothesis that you guys were trying to solve, right? So maybe that would help you into like having these slides arranged in a better fashion. Yeah, we can move to the next one. If I'm speaking too fast, if you guys need me to slow down, let me know. Okay. Um, yeah, cool. I don't have any complaint with this one. Affinity mapping again. This would be like better for me to understand, because again, I did not know like what was the purpose of affinity mapping. Again, this all comes to the fact that that initial setup was not run right in my point of view. Like, hey, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, and why, why exactly we ran this research, and what are we trying to uncover from this research, which is going to help us move forward, right, with the design. So again, this is like affinity mapping, so I'm cool. Again, I can't go through each of the slides, so maybe a couple of like highlights, like what you guys had on top, right? So that is like good for me. So this slide is good. So let's move forward. So competitive analysis, yes. This is the one which threw me off, because for me, yes, I think everybody who is into gaming or something, they would always know. Yes, so Steam does these things. The GOG, Epic, and Ubisoft does these things, and these are the common things. But what is the unique factor which actually like separates, right? At least in terms of your solution, in which you guys focused on adding friends. So how are these platforms doing it, right? So that is what I would probably like focus on in this slide. Like, because when you're saying competitor analysis, that is what like I'm more interested in, because like the stats that I mean, the information that you guys have here, workshops, community market, live streams. Yeah, like everybody knows it for me, in my point of view, since I'm a Steam user also. So that's why I'm saying, like, since you guys focused on one particular problem, maybe I would love to see how adding friends or like talking to friends or sharing with friends is actually different between all of these competitors, because that is what would actually help you drive your design, right? Hey, all of these other platforms do it in this manner, so maybe that is why we need to be consistent. So regardless of game is going whichever platform, they always see it in the same manner, like you mentioned in the last design slides. So maybe that would be one of the changes that I would recommend doing here. Yeah, let's move. We have enough time, Padma.
Yep, we already have 7 minutes. So, yep,
Okay.
if you can wrap up. Yep. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sure. Oh, should I wrap up, or do I have more time?
You can wrap up actually.
Okay,
So,
fair enough. So,
sorry
so
for
if you
that.
no problem. I think I spoke too much about the research part, because I'm very passionate about it. But if you guys want more feedback, I'm happy to get into a call with you guys. Just yeah, connect me with LinkedIn or Slack me or whatever is it, Discord, and I can jump in and we can like have a session on that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thank
great
you
work.
so
I,
much.
I love the designs. Yeah, it's just like setting up the which was missing. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you
the
so
feedback.
much.
Thank you so much for the feedback.
Yep. Thanks, Alik, for your feedback. It was very helpful, I can say. And you guys can connect with him later on also. And good job, Team 42. Really nice. Great job. Okay, so Team 18, go ahead and share your screen. Your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay.
Hello everyone, please can you hear me?
Yes, we are good.
Right. Good day everyone. Hello everyone. Okay, so we're gonna start right with it. Right. Okay. Our project brief was based on design a digital learning platform for local audience. And this gave us a perspective of where we're heading, because we defined our local audience to be those in Africa that lack digital skills. So what we based our project on was based on people that don't have tech skills and want to have opportunity to gain tech skills learning online. So that was basically what the project was about. So we had a research phase in the sense that we actually wanted to know what are the issues people are facing learning tech skills online, digital skills online. What actually are people, what actually do people want to learn online? What skills do people want to learn, and what are the problems they're facing? So we had a quantitative data because we carried out a very extensive survey about the age range of people who want to study online, what they consider themselves as. Do they have tech skills, or do people with tech skills even want to study more tech skills online? And how do they even wish to study tech skills? Like, we had data about how they prefer learning their new skills. Is it going to be virtual classes, physical classes? And we had 71% of participants having to choose hybrid classes, both virtual and physical classes. We had also people choosing learning together as a group to help them in learning tech skills. And so basically we had our survey covered around all of these and most common problems with learning new skills. So from that, we were able to understand that consistency was a main issue. Having a live and interactive community was another issue, and lack of motivation to continue studying online was also another issue that a lot of people faced when they are studying online. And the top skills in demand, because we're also able to get that as well. We have a collage of many skills that people also want to learn online. So we know that the demand for such a product is high. And so after the surveys, we were able to get some participants for interviews. And then we had interview questions based on what their current job is like. How do they think they can transition into tech? Do you think so? Basically, what we did was that we made sure that we had open-ended questions so that we can empathize with participants and best understand the users so that we can best meet their needs. So that was what this was all about. Then we move on to the persona. So after doing that, we basically drafted two personas of two user groups. That is two user groups. So that is Toyin Indamala, which is a 45-year-old lady. And we have, we have, Chima, which is a student. So we had two major user groups during the persona. And then we understood that from Toyin, she wants to be a project manager, but her main pain point and concern was that she doesn't have access to mentors. She wants to be a project manager. She wants to study online because she takes care of her children at home, but she doesn't have access to mentors. And from there, we're able to draft out her empathy map, feeling uncertain about getting a good mentor. And she doesn't have a reliable and accessible platform to learn project management from home. And the same thing with Chima, but Chima here is a bit different because he has difficulties and concerns with uncomfortable understanding English from tutors and wishes he could learn his favorite skill in his local language. Because here we're talking about our local audience. He doesn't want to learn his tech skills in English, basically, because that's what we have normally, but he wants to learn in his local language, which is Igbo, because he's from Lagos. He's from Anambra, Nigeria, and then he speaks Igbo, Pidgin, and English. So we had his empathy map as well, and we moved into a very comprehensive competitive analysis because we have top organizations in this game as well. We have Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, Duolingo doing the same thing. So we had to understand the market. We had to understand the quality of the competitors' product, quality of Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, and Duolingo, which is an indirect competitor. They are focused with people who want to learn languages and all. So we were able to analyze competitors' strengths, that's for Coursera and Udemy, and their weaknesses as well. And then we also were able to draft out their opportunities, like what we see as opportunities they lack, and we can also gain our strength on. So that took us to the define phase, having to have a very comprehensive competitive analysis. So that took us to having a problem statement. How can we create a mobile app that effectively helps local users who intend to gain tech skills learn effectively and easily? Now, from that, we were able to draft out a goal statement. Our Tech Up mobile app would allow users to get access to quality courses, bootcamps, and mentors, which would positively affect audiences that are in need of acquiring tech skills, would measure effectiveness by the increase of people engaged with tech skills. So from that, we're able to get an affinity map because we were able to get all of our insights and group them into different sections. We had people having problems with classes online, people having problems with lack of commitment, people having problems with cost, have language barrier problems, follow-up questions, because when you're studying online, sometimes it's usually difficult to have follow-up questions with your tutor or your mentor, and people having problems with not having mentors online. And we had lots of issues that we had to bring into different sections, and then from that, we're able to get a value proposition. A value proposition in the sense that how can we make our own mobile platform different from Coursera, Udemy, or any other platform out there? Now, what the things we highlighted were users gain access to mentors for guidance. We know that not all of these platforms have that such a feature, but in ours, you can have users gain access to mentors, language options for inclusive design and accessibility, because we're talking about our local audience where we have a very diverse culture. And then because English is the main, it's the main thing that people use to teach tech skills, why don't we have the accessibility for other people to gain from learning tech in different languages? So job placement opportunities, access to study buddies and communities that would help people who lack motivation to continue studying. So you have live meetups and physical meetups. So we're just going to go through it through the ideate phase, and then you continue from there, Ezekiel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, the ideate phase. We launched the ideate phase strongly with information architecture rather, to help with the sitemap. We just created, pardon me. We launched the ideate phase with an information architecture. Then we moved on to the, sorry for the technical issue. Yeah. Then we moved on to the user journeys. Yeah, then we move on to the user journeys, where we just show the actions, the task list, the feelings, and the improvement opportunities. Then let me just flow through this. And we went to the user flow, just the basic user flow from the entry to the endpoint, just course catalog and selecting a course. Then we created a task flow of registration, of logging in and signing up for an account on the app. Then we rounded up with the design phase and created a logo, like a design system. for it, then started the lo-fi, that is the digital wireframe for the app. Then we started the high fidelity prototype. Sorry for that. We started the high fidelity prototype. Then we used the color, we created a design system, but we are yet to put that in. We started the design, the high fidelity prototype, then we are about to begin the test phase. We just did the high fidelity prototype based on the user flow, the main user flow of the participants, of the user, of our user rather. Sorry. And the test phase is currently in progress. We've not done that yet. We're still iterating on the app. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Good job. Good job, Halliq. Can you just go ahead? Halliq, you are on mute. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Morning problems. Yeah, can you just share your screen again? Maybe like go at the beginning. Seems like a lot of work for you guys in terms of you guys have done design systems and all sorts of wireframes and fidelity mockups and stuff. Is there a reason why you guys opted to create a new platform? Like, I mean, I'm just asking from as a industry expert point of view. Like most of the times when we talk to clients, we'll be like either like build versus buy, right? Whether like, hey, whether it is good for you to build this from scratch, or maybe it's better for you to just buy it from outside, right? Like get a subscription in the software. But considering all that, there are like so many platforms which currently exist outside, and which like one of the things that I'm going to come back is basically the competitor analysis, because the competitor analysis doesn't like it was not clear for me like why building this application is actually a better solution than actually using an existing one, which could be a lot more easier because as you said, if your main job is to make all these courses and mentors and everything available in to make it more inclusive and accessible, then those platforms can easily do it, right? Like LinkedIn and a couple of other platforms are now starting to produce courses in local languages. So for me, like showing that key differentiator of like why, because there are so many learning platforms which currently exist. So for me, the biggest question was like why should you build this from scratch? Like what exactly is the thing that is making it different? Like for me, that was the biggest question. But let's leave that outside. In terms of like some of the quick feedback, I had like, for example, I just stay in this way, like interview questions. Maybe I mean like this is I'm guessing this is done, so it's okay. But think about having some of the open-ended questions, which is like super neutral. It's not a leading question. Like for example, like here you're asking questions which are like, hey, which courses you would like to take, which one? Yeah. So here, for example, like what are the advantages of online learning courses? So for me, that's a leading question because you're asking about only the positives, right? So maybe I would like rephrase this question like, hey, have you learned anything in online? Can you like share some of your experiences? So then let the user decide whether they think it's positive or negative experience, right? Because for me, having a leading question is more like putting ideas in users' mind and telling them, oh, I want you to answer in this format, right? So that is why I would probably like think about like rephrasing some of these questions in future. Like for example, how do you like taking online courses that makes it so effective? So that is like a super leading question because you're asking about courses which actually worked for them. In reality, what we're trying to unpack is more about like online learning as a whole, right? Like whether things has worked out well, whether things that have not worked out well. So that is what we're trying to unpack from users' point of view. So maybe like the biggest feedback from me is like when you guys like rewriting some of these questions in future, make it super neutral. Ask for feedback. Ask for not feedback. Ask for experiences from their mind, because that is what users are always trying to think and bring back, right? Because they won't remember data. users. So whenever you ask something from them, all they're trying to do is go back and bring experience from their mind. So for me, I would always recommend to ask like neutral questions, which would like jog up users' memory and them sharing back that experience with you. Because when it is an experience, it becomes more powerful for you as an insight. So that is like one of my biggest feedback here. Let's go to the beginning of the slide. Hello, am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Oh,
I
okay.
can hear.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Same with the survey questions as well. Some of these questions I did like it. Like my biggest feedback for most of the people when they write survey questions is never have like open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are always like, like you cannot like quantify it. Always have like closed-ended questions. So I did like some of the questions that you guys had. It's good. One of the biggest questions I had is also like you guys asked about like where do you live and all those things. I don't know what sort of platform that you guys use for survey. Is there a way for you to guys to like use a screener questionnaire to actually like shortlist your users so that you can like leave some of those questions because like how many questions did you guys have in your survey?
Um, okay. Cannot remember. But I think we had more than this question, but we just had to put only the qualitative data here.
Yeah, I'm asking like, was it like 20 questions, 30 questions? Like, how many questions do you guys have on your survey? Because I usually don't recommend anything beyond like 10, 7, 8, because users beyond like 8 or 10, they start doing ABC, they don't even read properly. They just like start checking off things. So that's fair because I felt like you guys had like a lot of questions. So I always like recommend using a platform which offers you to have a screener questionnaire or it has like screener criteria which sends out users to specific user groups so that you can have those 10 or 15 questions which are like super valuable, right? Because here, for example, like what is your age range, right? Like I wouldn't ask that question because I might use certain survey platforms which could filter down users for me based on age ranges. Like so for me, I would like use those kind of things. So that is my biggest thing because I thought this had like a lot of survey questions. So there's a high chance surveys are not always accurate, right? So my recommendation is maybe like cut down questions which you think you can get the data from the platform rather than you have to ask users those questions like age or location or other things which you can actually like, get the data from the platform for free and probably focus on questions. But I did like your questions because there was not a lot of open-ended questions. Many people ask open-ended questions. I do like questions which are like direct, which has like options, right? So in that way, I think this is really good. My third biggest feedback was on your designs itself. Let's just go there quickly. I know Padma is like looking at me with like your turn. Um, so yeah, so you guys had those simple flows and everything. For me, that's fine. It's just I would love to see all of these, the flows, the lo-fi, the mid-fi, and hi-fi. Can you guys have the same set of screens? Like because here on the lo-fi and everything, I'm seeing like a sign-up flow, login flow, and then I'm seeing like different set of screens in lo-fi, different set of screens in like hi-fi, and then I'm coming back to login and some dashboard in like mid-fidelity. I maybe you guys wanted to show different screens, that's fine. But for me, it would be a lot more easier for me to see how the design gradually grew, right? So maybe if you guys want to show login, that's fine. Show login, but maybe just show login like, hey, this is the flow that we did. This is the wireframe, and this is the high fidelity, right? Or maybe if you guys want to show the dashboard or maybe the courses page, maybe that's what you guys would probably like show. Like this is how users can register, right? Because here it seems like it's all over the place. um like for example, I see the landing screen, then I see the course. Yeah, so yeah, here you guys are trying to show a flow, right? So maybe that is my biggest feedback because it just seems like you guys are like showing different things, so I couldn't like quickly grasp because I had to constantly look for like, okay, now what is this page? This is a different page. Now what is this page? This is a different page. So every screen that you guys showed had like different set of screens, so it took me some time to look at it to understand what it was. So to make it easier for the judges or people who are giving feedback, maybe it's easy. It will be nice if you guys can keep the same set of screen. This is the flow that we're going to see. Here's the user flow diagram. Here's the wireframe, and here's the high fidelity marks, right? So that I can quickly understand how you guys actually made it work. Yeah, that will be my third big feedback for you guys. Okay. Okay. I hope I'm on time this time, Padma.
Yeah,
Okay.
almost 8 minutes, but yeah, it was amazing. Really good
great job.
feedback.
Yeah,
Really
great.
good job.
Yeah, I think these guys have done like excellent job. They've done a lot of different things. So that
Yeah.
is good. Again, for me,
Mhm.
this is what I always tell people. It's not about how much work you do. It's also about like UX and design is also about like selling the job and storytelling. And so make sure that you package it in the way that you want to sell, right? Because here they have put a lot of information. It's just, for me, it's so much information. I have to always like focus so much to understand what he was going through. But great job at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, great job, guys. And
Thank you.
one point I would really like to focus on that, like the one Halliq said, concentrate on one task and showcase that story, which will help you also to explain the story and other people also to understand the story. So that's the good thing. But really great job, I can say. Good job, guys. Great. Next. So we have team 37. Go ahead and share your screen. All the very best. Mhm.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, whenever you want to start, Joe. Hi, everyone. We are Team 37, which includes myself, Jenlyn, Caitlin, and Philip. We chose mental health as our project to work together. Next slide. Sorry. After talking amongst each other and conducting secondary research, we realized the mental health space was a very large, fuzzy, and complex arena. Initially, we had difficulty narrowing down what part of the challenges we should focus. Next slide. In getting started, we followed the double diamond process, workshop learnings, and consulted our mentor for ongoing feedback. Next slide. To get a clearer picture of the gaps and problems in the mental health space, we decided to start off with a survey. We briefed it with broad and specific questions to understand what our customers are experiencing and accessing mental health care now. Next slide. We received 39 responses at the time we processed the survey. And here's a breakdown of some of the highest concerns. As you can see, cost was the highest concern. And finding a specialty therapist in their area was a second issue that they pointed out. And therapist and client personality fit were something the participants worried about. And our chart shows that there was a 40% gap in finding a therapist that matched their ethnicity and life stage, which was an important criteria in choosing the right therapist. Another area was finding a therapist when they need one. If they had insurance, and depending on which insurance they had to go through a lengthy process, as it could take weeks, which added stress and frustrations to their mental health. Next slide. In analyzing the survey results, we initially thought cost was an issue and thought about focusing on the cost gap. But when we started interviewing, we learned something more. Next slide. We interviewed 7 people, and although cost was an issue for all of them, 85% of interviews managed to afford to see a therapist within the past 12 months, and 57% were actively seeing a therapist on a monthly basis. From the interviews, we gathered that most participants preferred individual therapy over group therapy. Most did not want to talk to a chatbot, though the participants didn't mind a few notifications, a checkup like, how are you doing today? Most didn't mind using an online therapy app to talk to a therapist, but still wanted to have the option to see a therapist in office. They found talking to a therapist about their problems valuable and would pay anywhere from $45 to $75 out of their pocket to see one, and without insurance. So what we learned from our interviews and surveys was that participants that has always been in therapy and the participants that were underrepresented still wanted to access mental health while having a therapist that understands their cultural roots, life stages, as well as their mental health needs. Next slide. Then we moved on to competitive analysis study. Here we focused on 4 competitors, and while each had an advantage, there was also a gap showing unmet needs, such as there should have been an easier way to read the therapist's profile. There should be a screen to view and schedule appointment easily, such as first availability, and also have the option to self-select a therapist. And with that, I pass the mic over to Jenlyn.
So we took the responses we gathered from our 7 interviews and created an affinity map where we grouped our responses based on common themes. We use this to help us, we use this and our research from our surveys to help us create our how might we statements. Next slide. So how might we provide affordable healthcare for those with insurance and those without insurance? How might we match the right therapist to the right patient? And how might we find available therapists so that we can book appointments easily? We decided to go ahead and focus on the latter two how might we statements and narrowed it down to this problem statement. Working adults who regularly access mental health care apps need a way to more easily find a therapist who fits their needs, personality, and schedule. We use this to help create our user stories. As a mental health care app user, I want to find a therapist that's available so that I can continue to receive care for them. As a new user, I want to be able to find a therapist that matches my needs so that I can have a good relationship with them. And as a new patient seeking therapy, I would like to know the first availability of my therapist so that I can schedule easily. These are all concerns for our persona, Nora, who in general thinks that with mental health care services, it's hard to find an appointment time that matches her schedule and accepts insurance. So I pass it on to Philip, who's going to talk about our ideate phase.
So for our ideation phase, we all came up with key features we wanted in our app. We decided on the main features to be the ability to schedule and match with a therapist, the ability to compare between 2 therapists, and to highlight the first availability for each therapist. So these are our sketches. We all sketched out sample screens. Next. And then these are our wireframes. We all wanted to make our screens consistent and to portray all of the information a user would want when looking for a therapist. This is the style guide we made for our app, which is called TheraSpace. We decided to use IterateUX as our font because it's a sans serif, it's modern and clean looking. And then our color scheme, we used blue and grayscale colors to make a clean UI, which is good. And then our logo is 2 hearts to signify health and a plus sign to signify medical health. So now Caitlin will talk about our prototyping and testing.
Thank you, Philip. So we conducted testing on our wireframes to ensure that the feature of our app works how it intended them to. And we received a lot of feedback. And in fact, we actually felt very overwhelmed. However, we prioritized the most important and common issues to iterate. And these were the 3. We initially had 4 questionnaires, and through user testing, we learned that our user preferred to answer more questionnaires to best generate the therapist for their needs and to also have the ability to update their answers. So we created more questionnaires and let users to be able to update their answers in the home screen. So for the home screens, when user got to this screen, they were so confused. They thought it was too simple and they were confused that it was a therapist profile. So we felt that this iteration was important in how user navigate through the app. In addition, we learned that from our users that star ratings and reviews help them compare. And so we enhanced the therapist profile by adding star ratings and reviews. And now we'll go through the prototype. So our app TheraSpace help you find therapists that match your criteria, be able to compare therapists and schedule and book appointments. So I'm going to create an account. And here I'm prompted to take a questionnaire that will help me generate a list of therapists that fit my preference. And I'm going to briefly go through these questionnaires in this demo. So these questions were generated based on our interviews when we asked our users what they look for in a therapist. And we also took some inspiration from our competitors. Okay, now that I'm done with my questionnaires, based on my answers, the app generates the best therapist for me. And in our comparative analysis, we found that other apps had users match with therapists instead of having the user control to choose someone specific. And so we found an opportunity to present multiple therapists for users to be able to self-select. And we wanted to show the first appointment availability. I can also favorite a therapist, and to look more into a therapist profile. We organized the information based on the important factors from our research. And we created a scheduling feature because we found that the users were having to email therapists to see their schedules when booking one through our competitor website. So I'm gonna book an appointment. And now I'm back to the home screen. And this is where I can get rematched with the new therapist. So I'm just gonna go back to the home screen. We built out the favorite features so that users can save the therapist that they found fitting for them. And we also built out an appointments tab where it shows upcoming appointments and past appointments. And lastly is the ability to compare therapists, a feature that we believe will help users be able to find the needs, find the therapist of their needs by doing a side-by-side comparison. So that is our app. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. Takeaway and next steps. So mental health is a personal matter, but we learned when talking to our users, they're very open in sharing their experience to better mental health service, which help us empathize better. And in our next steps, we want to perform another usability testing. We would like to add more features, for example, payment through the app and the ability to connect insurance through the app. Thank you for joining us with our presentation.
Thank you. It was really great. Good job, guys. I will hand over it to Halliq. He has a tough job now for giving a feedback. Okay.
No. Can you just share the screen again? I just want to go at the beginning again. It is like really tough app to create because there are so many mental health apps, right? Yeah, I mean, I was gonna even ask you yeah, go to the beginning because I was just wondering if you guys mentioned like how this is different from everything else that they have currently in the market, right? Because for me that is always the biggest question that at least like personally I get asked. Like even now when I work with clients, I show them a solution for the problem that they bring in, and they'll be like how it is different, right? Like how it is different and why users are going to use mine, because they might be already using a lot of things. So how is TheraSpace different from BetterHelp or Talkspace or OpenPath or whatever that you guys did your comparison or competitiveness?
Yeah,
that
that's
is
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
No, I was just wondering if you guys had a slide on that explaining that, hey, this is the problem that we identified, this is the solution that you're going to make, and this is why it's going to work out, right? Yeah. So for me that, yeah, if you can, maybe you can explain me, or if it is already there, just show me. Maybe I missed it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's a really good question because we actually found these features opportunity through our competitor analysis. So if you can see here, like we did an app, 2 apps, and 2 webs. And over here in 2 webs, in the web, you're able to self-select a therapist, whereas the app, they just connect you to one therapist. And so that's what an opportunity that we found. And another one was a therapist profile. The web shows that, but the app doesn't. So
fair enough. Can you like move to the beginning of the presentation where you talk about the research and the users and everything? Yeah. Yeah. So which market did you guys focus on? Is it like North America? Is it Asia? Is it like Canada, like, or UK? Like which country? This app is focused on.
We focus mainly for North America, but what we
Okay.
found out was there is a small segment of population that's underrepresented. When we say underrepresented, that means people who have not accessed mental health based on stigma or because lack of insurance or because of their cultural roots. So as you can see, 35% of people here are Asian or Pacific Islander. So we were more gearing towards those underrepresented people and other ethnicities. Because if you go look at the apps right now, majority of the therapists are Caucasian. And if you wanted a specific cultural therapist, it'd be very difficult to find, mainly because there's not that many available as far as license goes, but also it's not geared toward that way because the mental health space is mostly about a certain representation. So we didn't want to overwhelm people saying, okay, this is just only one type of ethnicity. This covers all type of ethnicity that are underrepresented.
Okay, see, that is exactly what you should have like written, as like why it is different, right? Because that seems like a good sort of thing. Yeah, and I do agree. A lot of apps, their base population is usually based on whichever economic zone or whichever say raises the most on top, right? So yes, so yeah, I do agree with you. It's a nice explanation. I just wish it was on paper for you guys to tell me upfront, not at the end, right? So that is good. Yeah, the next couple of slides, because again, it's all about telling a story for me. Like, this is what we're going to do, this is why we are doing it, and this is why it's going to work out. And let's see how we did it, because that is the formula I usually recommend everybody. So the interview results that you guys had, did you guys have any kind of like statistics? I'm not sure how many people that you spoke to, so maybe it's hard to quantify. But
we spoke to 7 people, and
okay.
And they were all in different various life stages. One, a couple of people were unemployed. Some of the people were underemployed, and some people were well established. So the 7 people kind of didn't really, can establish the whole representation. But what they all had in common was a couple of things. We will pay for therapy. We find therapy valuable. We don't want to speak to a chatbot. We don't want group therapy. We want a real therapist. And what else did they say? And we want to talk to somebody who understands us. You know, when they say us, they could be a Black female, they could be an Asian, they could be a LGBTQ person, and also people who are older. They felt they didn't want a younger therapist. They want somebody around their age, and somebody who was young. They felt their generational gap was so divided they couldn't talk about their culture, their life stages. So those were some of the things we wanted to focus on: cultural roots, life stages, as well as other mental health, the common mental health things that people also go through, such as depression, anxiety, other things. But the culture, what we wanted to zone in was the cultural roots and life stages, which if you go to a lot of therapy apps, they don't really go deep into the cultural roots. They just talk about, hey, you're anxious, but why are you anxious? You could be a new person in a new place, and nobody would understand you about those situations unless you've been there.
So was the survey done first, followed by the interviews, or interviews done first, followed by the surveys?
The surveys were done first.
Okay. No, I'm asking this because you bring up a lot about like race and culture and all those things. So I'm just wondering, like, which helped you to explore more? Because usually when we do research, yes, we're going to do sort of interviews first, or maybe a survey first, in which we will try to get answers for some of the hypotheses that we have. Then we'll use the second method. It could be, again, either a survey or an interview or a focus group, whatever is it, to unpack some of the much more deeper questions. In this case, which you mentioned as like culture, right? So I was just wondering, like, whether you were able to do it. If yes, I would love to see some of those data. Again, for me, it's all about storytelling. You have all this in your mind, which comes out right now. But for me, it would be better if you can like tell me upfront, like, this is what we're trying to achieve, because for me it was not coming up right, because now I have to ask all these questions to unpack that. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, one more fun question. I don't know if you have enough time. If you go to the screens, I was just wondering. I mean, it just made me chuckle when I saw the screens of all the therapists. It just looks like they're all either models or they belong to some dating profile. I was just wondering whether when you did the UTs, whether users were like how they were reacting to it, because most of the times we tend to I know a lot of people go for stock photos. They look for like nicer picture of people and stuff, but my recommendation is always like use pictures which could be like a lot more realistic, which people would actually upload. Like for example, like a therapist would never upload pictures of themselves like this in social media platforms, right? They're going to have much more professional pictures of themselves, which could build give them. So like there's this girl who's like sitting and like looking at the sun and stuff. I'm like, it just made me chuckle. So one of my recommendations is going to be like, yeah, if you in future when you're doing designs, yeah, use pictures which are going to be like a lot more realistic, which the people might use, which represents them, not like stock photos. Yeah. That is like, yeah, but apart from that, good. I did like your idea again. I like your idea even more after this Q&A session, because it seems like you guys are focusing on a pretty important issue. That story need to be told a little bit different. As I said, like set the story upfront very well, like tell them like what you're solving and why it is important, why it is a problem for this community or this culture or this race, and then bring them into the research that you did. Like, oh, to figure out all this, we did this research, and this is the set of design recommendation, and this is the UT that we did, right? Maybe that would like resonate very well with actually like selling the solution.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Really great presentation. Good job. Good conversation, I can say. Just like asking questions, having answers, and those kind of stuff. Amazing. Good job. Good work. Amy, would you like to say something?
Sorry, I was chewing some food.
No worries.
Yeah, great job, everyone. It was so fun to see your projects. Team 37, I'm mentoring, so I've gotten, a peek into their project before, but it was fun to see the full presentation of how the storytelling would occur at this stage. And then the other teams was completely, I'd never seen anything. So it was really fun to see projects from other teams that, I haven't been part of, that research and mentorship. Really great job on all your research and designs and work, everyone. It's fun to see the project at its completion here and until the next iteration after the feedback.
Yeah, that's true. And today we saw like 3 different topics altogether, and everyone has done a good job. Everyone. So congratulations, team. Good job. And yeah, have fun with collaborating with each other. Again, if you would like to iterate on your this project, feel free to iterate. This will definitely help you for your next maybe to get a job or wherever you would like to share this. So yeah, good job, guys. Congratulations, and feel free to share your experiences and learning on your platforms. Feel free to tag us. Let others also get an opportunity to work on the defined challenges and all. Okay, yep. And thank you so much, Halliq, for sharing such a valuable feedback. Amazing. This is amazing. Yep. Good.
I love like amazing work. So it was like nice to see,
Yeah.
like whenever you work with people who are like young and new to the industry, there's like so much into they have, and you get to see all this work which you never get to do anymore. So really fun, excellent work. Thanks.
Yeah. That's
really great insight.
That's true. And even like I can say one more thing, the one Halliq mentioned just now, like sometimes we go ahead with interviews and then we go ahead with the surveys and those kind of stuff. That iterative process usually happen in the real world. First, we go ahead with one methodology, we showcase that all the presentation to the stakeholders, we focus on the scope, and then we go ahead with the primary information that we would like to dig more into the research, and then we go ahead with some another methodology or something like that. So that is very important. when we work in the real environment in real projects as well. So, yep. Great. Good to know all those things as well. And congratulations. And thank you so much for presenting and working amazingly in this design challenge.
Hey everyone, on behalf of IterateUX, we would like to thank you so much for watching this week's event. If you like the content, please leave a like and subscribe. We'll have events every Thursday at 5:30 Pacific Time. Join our Discord in the description to find out more.